What's up, League? It's your host, Captain Commish, here coming at you with Commissioner's Corner, Episode 6. Getting down to the nitty-gritty of the season here, guys. I'm just enjoying a nice ice cold Coors latte. The mountains are blue. After working, I threw down a little note cheat sheet here. Figured I'd get a quick episode in. I think next week, if the boys are willing, I'm going to try to get Middleburg football team and Snow Bunnies down so we could do a confiding in the commish episode. But other than that, business as usual, boys. Business as usual. We're just keeping it the same way we always kept it. You know what I mean? Like I said, we are getting down to nitty gritty. Last week I didn't predict Soha, fellas. Straight up, 2 for 5. The only games I got right were myself and Middleburg football team beating Coys out, and that he did. Other than that, we had huge comeback, upset, I should say, from Calendar. Riggy Riggs with a huge upset, and Touch of Downs doubling his opponent's score, which you always love to see. That's happened a few times, I believe, this year. Maybe only once, actually, before this week, with Michael doing that. For Jones for the chip, not scoring great, but let's get right into it. Snow Bunnies versus Captain Commish, pretty low-scoring game. 130.22 to 104.4. Nothing really crazy to report there. I mean, I put in Dalton Schultz. I was trying to shop for a tight end, honestly, before that week because Darren Waller went down with an injury, but I decided to go with the backup that I drafted in the draft. So I put him in there, and he had a career day. I mean, 130 yards, 10 catches, I believe a touchdown. 27 points, projected to get 10. You love to see that. That helps out. Jalen Hurts continued to do his thing. Justin Herbert had a stinker. My running backs have just been getting stinky with it. I tried swapping them around. I tried getting Tony Pollard, seeing if he could change the program in the running room. He could not. Hopefully, I got to ride with these guys, though. That's definitely the weak point of my team still, is those running backs. They're just not performing. But then I versed Snow Bunnies, and it still continues to be the Josh Allen show, I would say, this week worse than others because of his buys, like George Kittle, Brock Purdy. Pretty just lackadaisical week. Barely cracked that 100 point. No one really even worth talking about here, aside from Josh Allen, continuing to put Snow Bunnies on his back. So then we're going to go right into debating how you see it, more exciting matchup. Middleburg football team cracking the 182. I think this was literally his highest scoring game by 40 points, maybe 30 points. And that he did. Los Angeles Chargers coming through huge with 26 points. Whenever your defense gets you 26 points, you're usually in for a big week. I feel like there should be a stat. Like if your defense scores 20 points, or we'll say 25 points, what the win-loss record for those teams. I bet it's like you got a 90% chance you're going to win. Granted, I have seen people lose. I'm sure it happens. Just not that often. But anyway, Middleburg football team. It looked like everything that went right could go right. Damn, do I regret dropping C.J. Stroud early on in the season. But what is one man's trash is another man's treasure. Tanner sticking him in there. Putting up 41.8 points, the young rookie, just doing whatever he can. Moster, who he just got in the trade, had a decent showing. Ramondre Stevenson killing it. Joe Burrow is back, looking like after that bye week is what he needed a week of rest, and he's back. And Tanners are getting to harvest the bountiful treasures that is Joe Burrow for hanging on for those beginning 4 or 5 weeks that were so rough for the boy. But where Tanner is falling short is, again, his wide receivers. It's kind of like my running backs on my team. 6.8 Cooper Kupp, 8.4 Jalen Waddle. Addison, who we got in a trade, got him 10. The lowest Addison's got in a minute, but you're going to expect that. Dobbs literally didn't even know Addison's name when he showed up. The guy literally pulled up, played, and won a game of football. Better than the Giants can do. That's just crazy, but Coyce had an ugly one. I predicted this on the middle. I think Coys literally needs, he needs his Cortland Sutton. He needs his Christian McCaffrey because that means he doesn't have to have Devin Singletary starting or, who's the other one he could have had? Russell Wilson, instead of a Bryce Young. That's just the way it goes with the buys, man. You got to really watch those buys. Then we got Calendar scraping by with a win over Alan DeGeneres. Alan needed, let's see, the running back from the Jets. What's his name? Breece Hall. Alan needed Breece Hall to get him legitimately less than 3 points. Breece Hall ended with 10. That's a heartbreaker. I watched that game. I think everybody was watching that game just to see, like, you know, we're watching this matchup. This was the matchup everyone was watching to see if Breece Young could get it done, and he couldn't. And I remember just feeling pretty sad for Al because they took Breece Hall. I think they had a whole other drive left, and they kind of just, like, took the guys out. And honestly, when you only need 2.5 point, 2.7 points, you could get that in one drive. So that's heartbreaking to see. And Tyreek Hill having his worst performance, I think, of the year. He had a 10er. He had a 10er and a 15, but the rest are all high 20s, low 30s, a couple 50s, or a 50 in there. A low week from George Pickens, who I told Al not to send in there in the video, but the week already started. 1.9 points, that's a tough go. But I mean, he had Gus Edwards, he had Browns defense talking about that thing. How many people lose if their defense scores 25? Apparently Al's one of them. He's a victim of the loss in the loss bracket. And Calendar, his team does what it normally does, gets about $120, and this time it just worked out for him, and that's a huge matchup. That's huge for the league because the last place position has now been bumped up a win. You have that much less breathing room, etc., etc. Good to see Snyder still fighting, getting some dubs in there. Sad for Al. That's tough. You know, you're in a big playoff push. Still could make it. You can still make it. There's still time. And that's tough. That's a tough way to go out on that week. Then we got Riggy Riggs and Baked Veteran. Again, another a stinker of a matchup, a 40-point swing victory. Riggy Riggs, had 140. I usually say like 135 is the win route. He got about that, and he won. Baked Veteran's team. Let's see what we got here. Let's cook it up. Baked Veteran. Joe Mixon played a good one, but Zach Wilson in the starting lineup is tough. Dallas Goedert going down in injuries, tough. Eagles defense didn't really perform. I mean, you're just banking on those Eagles, man. Banking on those Eagles to play well, and not all those mouths can be fed. DeAndre Swift didn't have a great game. Devonta Smith had what you'd want. Goddard, again, with the injury, I think if he didn't get injured, he would have gave you a little more. Not that it wouldn't have mattered, though. Because, the guy that does eat, aside from Jalen Hurts in Philly, his name's A.J. Brown, and Riggy Riggs had A.J. Brown. Got him a smooth 19.6. He also had Raiders defense against my Giants. His kicker got him 14. Just a decent showing. You can't be mad. Aside from, Tyler Algier, you can't be super mad at scoring 140. Even if you lose, you put up 140, you're still like, all right, well, the fella, you're confident going into next week. Someone who's not confident going into next week, I would love to say, has got to be Jones for the chip. I know we had the volatile, not volatile talk. I don't want to say I told you guys so, but, yeah, let's just see it. Week 8, I think he won with 151. The week... Or was that, week 8. Week 7, he had 107, 50-point swing. What do you have week 6? About 30-point swing. But yeah, I mean, it's just, it's volatile, but when it's on, it's on. When it's hot, it's fucking hot. And then he goes from 150 to 90, a good 60-point swing. It's just tough. Josh Jacobs being the guy he acquired, being the highest scorer of his fantasy week. And he even had Saints D put up some decent points, giving him 13. Giving him 13. TJ Hawkinson, he's starting to get banged up, but I mean, the guy he gets targets, he's one of the only consistent tight ends in the league. Adam Thielen seeming to have some serious signs of regression as the season goes on. DJ Moore, I know how that he's position 9 still, but this is a guy who's scored more than 20 points only 3 times. I mean, he's had huge weeks. He's had a 49-point week. But, I mean, let's go through it. 4.5, 16, 13, 27, 49. That's okay. You can live with that. Then we got, from week 5 on, 10, 13, 9, 5. that's just tough because you got a little golden handcuff situation. We always love to throw that buzzword around, especially when you got an Aaron Jones, who granted has not done a lot, but seemed like he was a huge part of that Packers offense last week. It just looked, I don't know what's going on with that running back room over there in Green Bay, but it looked like Aaron Jones. He looks like the guy they want handling the rock. So I might think about throwing him in there with Kenneth Walker situation not being hurt. I know we were talking about DJ Moore. I kind of got off on a tangent. I mean, maybe you could start Marquise Brown. I obviously think you stick with DJ Moore on that one. But Kenneth Walker is an interesting one because what's the deal with this? This guy has gotten 17 touches, 17 carries in the last 2 weeks. 17 carries. And Geno Smith has not been letting it up. Against Washington, I feel like this has got to be the make or break. Washington just got rid of their whole defensive line pretty much before the trade deadline. If you're going to run the rock against a team, it's got to be Washington. I don't know why the sudden huge drop in snap share. I don't know what's the deal with that with Kenneth Walker, but that was like the gleaming hope on the squad. A squad whose quarterbacks are Will Levis and Jaron Hall going into the week. You need your Kenneth Walkers and your DJ Moores to step up, and it's awkward. Jamar Chase 8.1. I don't know why these guys are so hot and cold. Some would say volatile, but that's what they are because when they go off, we've seen it. They go off. But it literally seems like every other week that he either scores 150 or he's another now on the list of sub 100s. I will compromise a list. I did not get to that, but that should be the wall of stink. And you're on it twice. That's tough. Touch of Downs having his best week ever with 186.36. Everything went right for Touch of Downs aside of Puka and Kyle Pitts. Everybody was in the double digits. He had 1, 2, 3, 4 20s, with 3 of them being high 20s. His team's looking hot. Dak Prescott's, his quarterback room is probably the best quarterback room in the league with Jared Goff on the bench. I think he's got 3 top. What's Jared Goff here? Top 12. Dak Prescott 11. Sam Howell 6. He's got 3 top 12 guys. That's crazy. He's got a quarter of the top 12 guys in the league on one roster. So he kind of holds the cards for quarterback trading and whatnot. So yeah, there was that matchup. Austin could have had a couple. He got really unlucky on that one because even if he had, one or Jamar Chase could have had a good game, it would have took more just with touchdowns and how that game went for him. So yeah, that was the matchups. I did not have a good prediction week. I wonder if I had a guess on how they would have done because honestly, Middleburg football team, that pick that hit for me was a wild card pick. He was clearly the underdog aside from some atrocious buys. But yeah, I don't know. Wow, every underdog won that matchup. So good on the underdogs. Good on the underdogs this week. So let's just get right into predictions of this week. The first rematch week of the season. This week is, it's very important because this is the first week. Obviously, it's the first rematch. People want to get that opportunity back. Let me get that dub back, or avenge a loss. But this week is special because there's bye weeks that play into it. So it's now there's more. How good of a manager are you? Are you putting the right guys in? So this week is a little more bragging rights on it. And if you clean sweep on the season, you got all the bragging rights. I beat you twice in 1 year. In this league, there's only 4 going to the playoffs, so chances are if you beat someone twice in 1 year, the person who's taking the 2 L's probably won't be making the playoffs either. So you probably have some decent bragging rights over that person. If you split, it's probably good for the friendship. So let's go right into it, folks. Snow Bunnies Coys. 6-3, 6-3. I'm just going to start hot. This is the game of the week. I know these teams have been struggling lately. We know. But bye week wise, I got to get a better, just give me 1 second. Let me get maybe the box score will show better. Yeah, this is more like it. So box score has Snow Bunny. I'll start right off. I got Snow Bunnies in this one. if you look at the box score matchup, Snow Bunnies wins in pretty much every category projection-wise, aside from Christian McCaffrey, Cowboys defense, and Nick Folk. That is the one thing Brody's got for him. He's got the Cowboys defense going against the New York Giants in another rematch week, which I don't see going any better than the first. Cowboys put up 37 points. I don't see them doing that. But honestly, if they did, tank first pick, baby. Giants are tanking this year, dude. I don't even care. I don't even want to win the games if it's good for the locker room or not. We gotta, obviously this roster don't work. Don't hit me with the injuries. Every team gets injured. It seems like the Giants every year. That's our excuses. Oh, the injuries. Every team's getting hurt. Every team's getting banged up. I'm not trying to hear that. The Daniel Jones experiment is over. Tyrod Taylor's 34 years old. He went in that offensive line and balled better than Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is supposed to be a mobile quarterback. I'm over the Daniel Jones experience, and I'm done talking about that. Sorry for the tangent. But yeah, Cowboys defense probably is going to get you at least 25 points. I think that is a fair estimation. Projected 8, but that's because ESPN likes to play it safe. No shot. Especially a team that averages 12.8 and just did 37 on this team. They're going to score points. So he does have that going up for him. Christian McCaffrey, he's got Christian McCaffrey. Do I see Tyson Bagent going off? Do I see Jerome Ford going off against Baltimore? Mike Evans could have a good one. I don't see his running backs performing well. Christian McCaffrey's going to do Christian McCaffrey things, but I don't see Jerome Ford running a mud hole down Baltimore's throat. I don't see that happening. Amari Cooper's probably going to have a tough week. Mike Evans should have a good week. Cortland Sutton against Buffalo. Buffalo's looked weak as hell. Let's just be honest. Aside from Josh Allen, they're not even in the playoffs. So, yeah, I like that matchup. But I'm going Snow Bunnies. Just on paper. And I mean, if Bijan gets touches, it's easy Snow Bunnies. I think Josh Allen against the matchups are there. You got a lot of, you're versing the Denver Broncos. You're versing Minnesota. You got San Francisco, who's a decent defense, but apparently not against wide receivers. So the matchups, in my opinion, are there. And, yeah, I dig it. Give me Snow Bunnies. Let me back out. Come on, computer. All right, then we got Middleburg football team calendar. This one's interesting because Middleburg football team's coming off a banger of the week. But I got the upset alert. Upset alert. Give me calendar. I'm taking calendar. And I'll tell you why I'm taking calendar. And it's Middleburg football team's matchups. The only matchup I truly love Middleburg football team has here is Joe Burrow against Houston. He's probably going to do good stuff. But C.J. Stroud against Cincinnati. Cincinnati's red hot right now. No spank you. I don't like that. Reminder Stevenson against Indianapolis. That's whatever. Madison against Saints. I don't love it. Jacoby Myers against the Jets. Don't love it. Addison against the Saints. Don't love it. Cole Kmet, Carolina. Okay, maybe. I don't know. Carolina's been pretty bad, but I think their defense is still young and spunky. And Chicago's offense is dog poop. So there's that. Then you got Evan Ingram, San Francisco. Okay, whatever. Colts D against New England could work out, or Mac Jones could have one of those weeks where he drops 4 touchdowns, which I hope he does. So I don't like the matchups. I'm not in love with the matchups. Granted, I'm not like super in love with calendars matchups, but just like I look at the teams. I just look at the teams. And I got to give the nod calendar. In the matchups, it shows calendar based off positions is projected to win, and off projections he's projected to win. I got calendar getting his first little hot streak. I got him going up, which is bad for Tanner, who's right in that playoff hunt. But give me calendar on that one. Lamar Jackson, CeeDee Lamb's been crazy. CeeDee Lamb putting up 41 last week for calendar. If he could just have a decent week out of the rest of, like, from a couple other guys, that's gonna win you weeks, And shoot, we just saw a touch of downs, and we just saw Middleburg football team drop 180. Everybody's getting their turn, it seems like, except for Baked Vet and Snyder are the only ones who haven't really had a crazy week. So I think this is going to be Calendar's week. I think he's going to have a crazy week. Give me Calendar. Then we got Allen Degenerates versus Jones for the chip. This is kind of the mid-off right here. You know, they're a game or two off of either last or a game or two off of real playoff contention. Interesting matchup. The projections are leaning Jones for the chip. And the matchups are leaning also Jones for the chip. Josh Jacobs against the Jets. I think what you got to do against the Jets, you got to pound the rock. They got two of the top 5 best cornerbacks right now in Reed and Sauce Gardner. I think you got to pound that rock. I think Josh Jacobs is going to have a good week. That Kenneth Walker, that's the huge question mark. We talked about it earlier. This has got to be the worst QB room matchup. On one side, we got Josh Dobbs and Kyler Murray, who's huge question mark. Interesting to see if Kyler Murray comes back looking like 3 years ago Kyler Murray or 2 years ago Kyler Murray. That would be huge for Allen's program. But there's always a huge question coming back mid-season and haven't really, you're coming on what I forget, he tore something. I don't know, I'm not a huge Kyler Murray guy. Don't follow him that closely. Saquon Barkley against Dallas though, not hot. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. The other QB room, Will Levis, Jordan Love. I hate it. It's two terrible QB rooms that, honestly, if either of these teams make noise, that will be their downfall. I know Austin's probably kicking himself in the ass for trading Jared Goff. That's tough. But it's going to be a really good matchup, honestly. Al needs Amon-Ra St. Brown to go bananas against the Chargers, which is so possible for him to win, though, in my opinion. I think DJ Moore, we already talked about a little bit, against it's his revenge game. So if he's going to do it, this is going to be the one. And I know we've talked on Austin's volatility. I'm poking the bear a little bit on that one, just because, why not? I'm trying to be also nice to the squad. But we've seen that volatile does not mean bad. Bad means bad. If you are bad, you're consistently bad. Volatile means you're all over the place. You'll put up 238. You'll put up 3 weeks of sub 100. Then you'll put up 160, 170 or whatever. Then a 120. It's just not consistent. He doesn't do 2 bad weeks in a row. We've seen it. Jones for the Chip's going to have a good week of football. And Jones for the Chip's going to win this week. Jones for the Chip, I got over Allen Degenerates. Unless Amon-Ra St. Brown puts up 40, I don't see it happening for my boy Al as his playoff dreams slip away. But I think he's pretty comfortably safe, from the last place spot. So he's in all right position there. But yeah, this is a big week for Jones for the Chips trying to claw away from last. I don't think his playoff hopes are high. Allen Degenerates, there's a twinkle in his eye, but if he loses this week, that twinkle suddenly, that eye shuts. And the twinkle disappears till next season. And also, not for nothing, we already talked about it before, fellas. This is going to be a forever league, boys. You guys are my boys. I love all y'all. Like my brothers, including my brother. And, you want... it's easy to maintain a good average as we go through the years. What your average record is if you have a good first year. Because, someone like Snyder... Calendar could end the year 3 and 11. 3 and 10. 3 and 11. I guess so. Yeah, 3 and 11. But next year he could go 11 and 3. Now all of a sudden his record, even though he had an amazing season, isn't that great. So you could also fight for that. Whatever keeps you boys cooking, fellas. Second to last matchup, we got Big Vet Touch of Downs. Very important matchup because Touch of Downs is another one. Hot as a motherfucker right now. Touch of Downs is scorching. What is he on a 3-win streak? I don't know. Let me check right here. Does it say? Yes, it does. So, yeah, Touch of Downs has got the highest win streak in the league right now. He's on a 3-win streak. Boy's hot. You gotta give it to him. And he's coming off he's versing a very ice cold Big Vet. Very ice cold for even the projections where most people are like 130, high 120s, maybe low 140s, or like if you're me, some reason they always give me 155. That hasn't happened for like 4 weeks. You guys, ESPN can simmer down. But, Baked Vet is projected only 111. Again, Zach Wilson in the lineup. Joe Mixon should have a good game. Brian Robinson, decent matchup. Zay Flowers against Cleveland, I don't love. Nico Collins against Cincinnati, I do not love. Jonnu Smith, Arizona, okay. Gabe Davis, Denver, I like. Falcons, Arizona. I mean, you're taking a shot with the Kyler Murray thing, but... And then you got Trevor Lawrence, San Francisco. And Zach Wilson against a rejuvenated Raiders team. If you don't remember, 2 weeks ago, the Giants-Jets was the most defensive game of all time. A scoring total, I think it was 9-14 or something. Absurdly low. And then the Giants versus the Raiders, and we get our doors blown in 30-6. So I'm taking Raiders. These guys are rejuvenated. I know it's the interim head coach plays a big role in that, but I don't know. Jets, Raiders, I might put the money on the Raiders right there. But yeah, anyway, then you got touchdowns. Dak Prescott said we talked about his QBs. Travis Etienne, Austin Eckler, running backs are great. Ayuk, his wide receivers are pretty mid. Ayuk and T. Higgins. Granted, T. Higgins had a good week last week. That was a great start by the boy. Putting up 19 points, getting his tied for most target share. But T. Higgins' targets were 2, 8, 0. Okay, let me start from week 1. He missed a couple weeks and then he had a bye, so it was a little confusing. 0, 8, 2, 2, 2, 5, 8 catches. So pretty not great year for the guy, but his targets are starting to steadily, consistently increase, so I get it. And you got Puka on bye, so yeah, I get it. And then you got Rachaad White, who sneakily is the 11th top running back in the league. So I mean, no one really expected that. I believe he got him off free agency. So great pickup for touch of downs. So yeah, it goes without saying I got touch of downs. And it's funny in this rematch week, if you go back to the week before, touch of downs has a completely different roster besides his quarterbacks and Travis Etienne. He's got like everybody else is different on this team from when Baked Vet and touch of downs battled out on week 1 with Baked Vet getting the victory over that one for the famous mug bet. The baked bet and the mug bet. So yeah, that's my almost forgot, last but not least, Captain Commish Riggy Riggs, my brother, Jay Riggles. I took the dub last time we played, and this time I'm gonna go with myself. I go with myself every week, and obviously it's 6-3. That's part of why I'm still positive, I think, is because I picked myself at this point, because I'm not doing so hot in that regard. But this week's scary. I don't have my Jalen Hurts security blanket of getting me 25 every week, 23 or whatever he averages. However, I do like it because Jalen Hurts was getting banged up, so I like that the Eagles are on a bye. Rest the boy so he could win me a chip here. I also have Isaiah Pacheco on bye, and so that's not great. So 2 of my starters out on bye, where Riggy Riggs has A.J. Brown on bye, which is his security blanket. I mean, wide receiver 2, he is putting up last 4 weeks 20, 29, 33, and 19, just consistently getting you about 20. It's kind of funny. So Jalen Hurts, QB2, his wide receiver 2, and we're both missing out on him. So I'm hit by the buys a little harder here, but I still think my squad's big enough to to carry the load. David Montgomery coming back is questionable. We don't know what he's going to do coming off what he have, a high ankle sprain, and Gibbs playing well. Well, I don't know. There's obviously going to be a snap share there, so unless he breaks a couple, I don't expect him to have a huge week, what he was doing the 2 weeks before he got hurt. I'm expecting maybe 10, 12. I think I would be content with if I'm Riggy. Deebo Samuel's coming off injury. Dotson banged up. Mark Andrews against Cleveland's tough matchup. Raiders D against Jets, though, is where he's looking decent. That's probably going to get him some points there. Where mine's all right. I got Justin Herbert against Detroit, where they do have a pretty decent defense. I'm a little nervous. Justin Herbert has been severely underperforming. Mac Jones, I had to pick up because of that bye. Javonte Williams has actually been turning it up decently these past few weeks, which I got. His last 3 weeks are 7, 12, and 18, so he's consistent with 27 carries last week. So he's consistently getting the carry. They're workhorse and the boy. I'm okay throwing him in. Tony Pollard, we're tanking, baby. Run up the Giants, dude. I hope Dak Prescott don't do dick and Tony Pollard runs for 200. Fuck it. Diggs against Denver, I like. Detroit, Keenan Allen, I don't know. Dalton Schultz, I don't like him against Cincinnati, but if he could just get me 10, I'm not expecting that 27. The matchups aren't great. Honestly, this is a good matchup. This is a really good matchup. I think it's going to be a relatively low scoring. Hopefully Mike Thomas on Riggy Riggs gives him another goose egg because that'll help me out as I try to secure first place in the league, so I can not have anxiety about missing playoffs going on our 2-loss skid, because that's very possible here with Riggy Riggs relatively hot. I mean, his score, his standings don't really show it, but Riggy Riggs is top scoring team in this league. He's hot, He scored 140. I haven't not done that in 4 weeks, so I'm a little nervous about the boy. So there you go. Those are my winners, guys. CC, Snow Bunnies, Snyder, Jones for the chip, touch of downs. Let's get right into the power rankings here. So power rankings, I got this way. I'm going to cut it to you straight up dry here. In first, Captain Kamish. Second, Snow Bunnies. Koi's at 3. At 4, Baked Vet. At 5, Allen Degenerates. At 6, Touch of Downs. At 7, Middleburg Football Team. At 8, Riggy Riggs. At 9, Jones and for the Chip. And at 10, Calendar. I know Austin's not going to be stoked at that Jones and for the Chip, man. But it's looking grim. I mean, to be realistic, you're 1 game away potentially from dropping here. But however, I do have you winning, so I would expect to jump back up here if you get to 4 and 6. Maybe you win 5 and 6, and you're suddenly at a respectable, maybe not playoff contention, but a respectable position. Especially if Big Vet starts catching L's the way he has been. Snowbuddies and Koi. I mean, honestly, all these top teams have been on skids. So that's the power rankings. The biggest mover was Jones for the Chip, dropping 3 spots. And then the other 2 were Touch of Downs going up 2, Koi's dropping 2, and then we had a few going up 1s. We had Riggy Riggs going up 1, Snow Bunnies going up 1, Captain Kamish going up 1, with the rest of the guys unsaid staying even. Going to a little budgets here as let's see, what do we got here for weeks left? We got this week, so we got 5 weeks left, boys. We got this week, 11, 12, 13, 14. We're getting down to it. It's getting down to the wire. It's getting interesting. That being said, 6 weeks left of football. Some people are running out of money. Not quite yet, but they're getting there. They're getting low. Top 3 lowest budgets. Middleburg Football Team, 34. Baked Vet, 35. Snow Bunnies, 48. Those are the top 3. We got a couple guys in the middle there, so we're going to go right to the top 3 highest. Top 3 highest, Calendar. Must have saw the video. Probably didn't. Only got 6 views. Views are dropping. That's kind of making me sad, but I understand the quality's gotten a little sad. I mean, doing this every week, yeah, it's tough. But we grind through, fellas. Top 3 highest, we got Calendar, 87. I believe he was at, let me check on the last notes here, he was at 92. So he dropped 5 bones. He had a little money in his pocket, he dropped 5 bones. Then we got Allen Degenerates, 72 bones. Then we got myself, Captain Kamish, at 68 bones. Nobody is mathematically eliminated from playoff contention yet. We got a couple real low chances. If you do get in, I'd buy a lottery ticket. Rounding that off with Calendar at 1% chance, Jones and for the Chip at 3, and Riggy Riggs at 6. Those are the only people that are less than double-digit % chances. The 3 highest, Captain Kamish, myself, 85, Koi's 79, Snow Bunnies 72. Pretty good odds those 3 teams go through the playoffs. And then that middle of the road, there's 4 middle of the road teams where really anything can happen. You got Baked Vet, 57% chance odds. Middleburg Football Team 40, Allen DeGens at 29, and Touch of Downs at 29. So they're a little dogfight in that middle right there. That's the scrappy group right there. And anything can happen in any given Sunday, baby. It's not over yet till it's over. Had a real good time at the casino. I will post that up in the video. Maybe do a couple edit clips, but that's going to be it, boys. That's me signing off. Thanks for watching another episode of Commissioner's Corner. Again, next week I'm going to see if I could get the fellas, Middleburg football team, and Snow Bunnies on the channel. Do a little confiding with the commish. Get a little spicy questions now that we're in that deep state of the league where everything's dicey. Every win is a huge deal. Every loss is a huge deal. And we're starting maybe start building some rivalries, boys. Where this is the first rematch week. The first rematch week of the year, of the season, of the franchise history, actually, technically, if you want to get down to it. But I forgot to do this. I want to do this quick, so bear with me. I want to go back to week 1 and go through everybody who won their first matchups here. And by how bad, if it was a spanking. I'll start with myself and Riggy Riggs. I won the matchup 142 to 101. Won it by 41 points. 40-point win. It's not a spanking, but it's a spanking. It's I'm putting your nose in the pee that you left in the house type deal. So I'm sure John's hungry to get a dub back there, especially, he don't want, now that stop loss of if Snyder were to lose against Allen last week, that's not there no more though. He got the win, so that safety net is it's not very safe. So I'm sure he needs this win. Just like I need this win. Then you got Coy's Snow Bunnies first matchup. Coy's ended up taking the dub there against Snow Bunnies, winning by about 33 points. Not super ass whipping, even lesser ass whipping than I'd say I gave Riggy Riggs. But again, that's a huge matchup. Game of the week. That could potentially, if myself and Baked Vet lose, that could be determine who's in first place right there, that matchup. So that's a very interesting matchup. Then you got Calendar, Middleburg football team. Middleburg football team took this one. Relatively close matchup by 22 points. Not close, but not an ass whooping by any stretch of the imagination. Then you got Jones for the chip versus Allen Degenerates. First good matchup. Well, yeah, first good matchup mentioned. Allen Degenerates took the win with pretty much 150, 149.92. Jones for the chip having 144.38. And this is when I was getting on Jones for the chip for changing his original name. I think it was Jake's dad or Thor's daddy or something dumb. I told him change it. He got a win. Maybe another change now that Daniel Jones, who I imagine your team is named after, is now down. Maybe a quick name change up and maybe get this win. Think about it. Touchdowns Baked Vet was the final matchup of week 1. Having 105 touchdowns to the victor. Baked Vet 114.58. Baked Vet's been doing that every week. I want to go if there's a let's see here, opposing teams, Baked Vet. I kind of want to do, maybe it's schedule. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's kind of. 1 second, boys. All right, so Baked Vet has scored 140. His scorings are as follows: 114, 140, 117, 128, 109, 115, 151. He's got a 150 in there against myself. That's right. Yeah, whooped my ass. 104, 101. So honestly, a very consistent. Has yet to drop the 3-digit threshold. So no wow games other than that really 151. That's borderline wow. So interesting that he's been doing this and just still top dog. He's up there 6-3. So yeah, guys, this is a huge week. I'm excited. It sucks that we're not doing anything spicy for this week, but alas, we can't do something every week. We're all adults. We all got stuff going on. Thanks for watching again, fellas. Be good. Bye.